This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm. So, I went out the other weekend, right? And I was going to go opening weekend, but honestly, my funds wasn't correct. And the thing is, I have like the movie, the Regal Pass thing, but things I had to do, it was just too much. And I wasn't hearing too many good things. But I try to stay away from that so I can go see things for myself. And then finally, me and my son went to go see one of the new horror movies that is out right now, and that is Him. Now, before I get into it, Him is a movie that is produced by Jordan Peele. I cannot tell you how many times people have come to me and said, y'all gonna see the new Jordan Peele movie? I'm like, it's not a Jordan Peele movie, but this is the problem with that, because this is not the first time they've done this. Back when the new Candyman was coming out, they put Jordan Peele's name on there so it could help sell it. And then now with the new Him movie coming out, they put Jordan Peele's name on there so it could sell it. Look, Jordan Peele has been awesome when it comes to his movies. He's like a relic. It's hard to find directors like that. I love psychological type horrors. And with Get Out, with Us, and with Nope, I thought he's 3 for 3. I know a lot of people did not like Nope. There was more mixed reviews of Nope. But, however, for what Nope was, and then especially the breakdown of it, I really enjoyed Nope. I just don't think the payoff was good enough for a lot of other people. But Jordan Peele, when it comes to horror, especially like horror movies for black people, they put his name on there to help sell that, even though he has nothing to do with directing or writing this movie at all, just a producer. And I don't even know how much credit that producer thing is, like how much work did he really put in other than put his name behind that. Spike Lee was famous for doing this also with The Best Man, putting his name behind that, and in Love and Basketball. Like some movies to put, because at that time Spike Lee is like the hot director, especially when it comes to the black movies that have, got good crossover appeal. But then when you need to help sell the movie, that's what you do. So that's what he did here with Jordan Peele. So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 was I could not find any reviews about this going into the movie. And usually you have to wait till the day before the movie comes out, or even that Thursday when we're able to see the advanced previews, that's a problem. That shows the studio it doesn't have faith in this movie to have people down it and talk about how bad it is. That means it will draw away people from going to see it. That's why you hold down that embargo for the longest time. And usually I wait for... Now, I love movies. I try not to let a lot of the positive or negative things affect me. But whether anybody wants to admit it or not, everybody needs to be sold a little bit. And with that being said, I want to be sold a little bit. And usually, the reviews that I'd be looking for, there are a lot of channels that I watch when it comes to movie reviews, especially movie reviews. And when a certain one of my people did not post a review, I was like, oh boy, I don't know about this one. But you know what? I'm always on the hashtag give it a chance vote, no matter what people say about it, because I try to stay away from that to form my own opinion. So I got to tell you something about Him is a film directed by Justin Tippin. I'm not familiar with who this guy is, but he's the one that's directing this movie. And it's a football horror movie. When I first heard that it was going to be a football horror movie, I was already signed up before anybody, like no matter who the cast was, I was going to be signed up for it, because the horrors that are with football, I think need to be talked about. And to talk about it in a horror movie, that was day one. We have, every time it's a football type of movie, there's the feel-good type movie. There is The Replacements. There is The Longest Yard. There is Remember the Titans. There are Friday Night Lights. Hell, even The Long Shots. Like every time there's football, it's always that feel-good movie, because that's America's sport, right? But then when it talks about the horrors that come with the playing professional football, the CTE that comes with it, the injuries, the wear and tear to the body, just the mental, physical, and psychological tear that it puts on these players. And we've seen a number of football players lose their life by suicide, or have died, or have been so injured, tore up to the point that they even having trouble walking. This is the reality of football. So when they said they was going to do a football horror movie, I was just like, okay, cool. And then also starring Marlon Wayans. Look, I've given Marlon Wayans a hard time. I can admit that I've given Marlon Wayans a hard time because I'm not a fan of slapstick comedy. But one thing Marlon Wayans has shown me over the years that he can do it all. He can do comedy, but he can do drama. He can do action. He can do whatever you want him to do. Marlon Wayans can do it, and to the point where Marlon has actually grown to becoming one of my most hated members of the Wayans family to probably one of my favorite members of the Wayans family. I'm not even going to hold you on that one. Especially learning more about him watching Club Shay Shay when he was on Club Shay Shay. Like those things right there, I was like, okay, Marlon, you get respect from me. So Marlon is starring in this movie alongside Tyreek Withers. Now Tyreek Withers is a bit of a newbie on the scene, but he did play college football at Florida State University. And then the only thing I remember him from was that Atlanta episode, Rich Wigger, Poor Wigger, that came out, I think about 3 years ago, maybe. And then apparently he was in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, which I have yet to see. I'm probably gonna catch it on streaming, but I have yet to see that movie. I may add it on like weekly on a podcast type thing, but I have not seen it. But he does great in the movie because, first of all, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. If they ever make, for some reason, it kept staying in my head. If they ever make a Kid and Play biopic, right? I seriously doubt they will ever make a Kid and Play biopic, even though I would be happy for it. But if they ever make a Kid and Play biopic, Tyreek Withers has to play Kid. That's who as soon as he opened the screen, I was just like, especially in this movie, I was like, he remind me of Kid from Kid and Play. Like, that's the structure I'm getting. I can just picture him with the high top, for stuff like that. Like, he can play that part. But neither here or there. The movie is starring Marlon Wayans, who plays Isaiah White. Isaiah White is this like Hall of Fame type quarterback. Imagine Tom Brady, in other words, right? And then you got Cam, who's coming up and is trying to basically be the next GOAT. I did hear that originally this movie was supposed to be called GOAT, but there were legal issues with that, so they called him. So, and now when Isaiah White is like on the edge about to retire, he invites Cam out to his training facility to help him train, but this whole training facility and the 7 days he has to go through there is not all what it seems. So that's just the brief synopsis of the movie real quick. And I had to say this, I'm going to be fair here. The beginning of the movie, I was interested because what they were doing was giving us the history of football. And there was a lot of things I did not know about, especially when it comes to the Native Americans and basically how it started, and then how the way the white people was playing the game, the natives had to find a way to be able to, beat that and play the game, and then they came with that. So then the next thing you know, they went against the rules, and then a lot of people actually died playing early football. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I'm just skimming over, trust me, but it was a lot of good stuff that I was learning in the beginning. I was like, okay, that's the stuff I want to hear. Those are the horror stories that I want to hear about in this horror movie. So, but what's it going to be, though? But there was so much weird imagery. There was so much stylistic choices in here that I was like, now I see where the Jordan Peele stuff is influenced in this movie. And I have to say, the first half an hour, I was invested. I was invested in there, and I was invested. Like, as soon as Cam got to the training facility and everything like that, and Marlon Wayans had a good way of hiding, like, something ain't right with him. But he's lovable enough to be like your homie. Like he was able to balance it. That's why I think Marlon Wayans is one of the best parts, if not the best part, in this whole movie. And there was a chilling scene. It's when they are practicing passing, and Cam has to complete a pass in 2 seconds to one of the receivers out there. And if he does it, this is in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. One of his teammates will get hit in the face with a football at full speed off the ripcord. Yo. That whole scene, I think that was like day 3 of training, right? Because each day has a name of what all the days were when training. I don't have all the names right now, and like I said, if you got to go watch like a breakdown video, you probably have to do that to get all the names and stuff. But that scene, it was chilling, it was intense, it made you uncomfortable, but that's what you did do in a horror movie. And I was like, oh my God, like he's really in some shit right now. And I like all the setup that it did, and all of a sudden, it took a hard right. And drove that, not even an angle, just straight turned and drove that way. And we didn't even know where it was going. It fell into a ditch and it kept going. I was like, whoa, something's missing here. First of all, the movie's only 90 minutes long, right? And I felt as though that something is missing. Maybe another half an hour. more character building, more setting up. Like, one thing I don't like about certain movies in general, especially in horror movies, where, you know, I have to go watch like found flicks, something like that, you know, to get the ending explained or something like that, like the Think story, something like that, is when the end doesn't justify, or you're not, like the end is not warranted for what was built up to it. That's what I don't like. And that's what this movie is. Whatever they were building to, it felt as though it felt rushed, and it felt as though like the message got lost in everything that they were, the imagery and everything else they were trying to do within that. Because there's this one big battle scene. I don't want to say it's a battle scene. It's just basically, it's a very gory, bloody scene at the end. But I'm like, does the build-up of the movie justify that? There were other creepy things that was going on in the movie. Like I guess I'm not going to spoil it, because y'all can go watch other spoil stuff like that for it. Whether it be creepy things happening, certain exaggerated costumes that was coming up on the screen, people crawling out of different places, you know, deranged fans. I know there was all a message to all this, but it got lost in the weird shit that it was doing. And the more weird shit it kept doing, the more it kept taking me out. I would say when it came to the 7 days, the first 3 days were intense. The first 3 days were intense. I was following the movie. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. But then, like day 4 on down, I felt as though it was just like, yikes. Like to the point where, as watching it, I felt dirty afterwards. I was like, man, I may have to go to church after this. Because after what you see, what Marlon is actually into, what he's actually doing, and he's trying to pass it on to Cam, and Cam is trying to figure this stuff out, and then it's like, you know, I ain't trying to do this no more. It's just like, man, it's a lot of weird shit is going on. And some things, as soon as I left, I usually do a walk the theater after review. I said, no, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here, because honestly, I wasn't feeling it. I was not feeling it towards the end. I had to go and look at an ending explained video. I had to look at a couple of them to try to justify everything that was going on. And it bothered me because this movie had so much potential. It had so much potential. Okay? But it just didn't live up to it. And especially when it just started going off the rails and stuff like that. Can I sit down here and break it all down to you like that? Sure, when I've written it all down, I haven't. So I'm not even going to do that or give the effort of doing that, because they didn't give the effort to do that neither. So when it comes to him, it's a catch it at a barbershop. I really want to say run me my refund, or, you know, like a fuck you type thing, but dog shit, whatever you want to call it. But I was just like, but you know what? It's a catch at a barbershop for me, because I did like the first part of it. I guess Act 1. I did enjoy that part. I did like learning about some of the histories of football. I just wanted to get more of that and more of the horrors behind it and stuff. But I felt as though it just took a too hard of a turn to justify whatever came at the end. Like, the build-up wasn't to that. And maybe there's a director's cut. We will never get a director's cut no more, because that's not what we do anymore. And for somebody who likes physical media, it bothers me. But that's where we're at. So, have you guys seen him? And if you guys did see him, please let me know all the shit. Because there could be a lot of people that actually probably did like the movie. I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'm just saying, just help brother understand, because other than that, after this, I'm still going to be looking at more explained videos to help this brother out. You feel me?